Ladies and gentlemen, stop, right now, take a deep breath. You're overthinking again, aren't you? You're replaying the same moment, the same conversation, the same mistake over and over in your head. Waiting for the perfect time, the perfect words, the perfect plan, but let me be honest with you, there is no perfect. There's only now. Overthinking often disguises itself as preparation or intelligence, but beneath the surface, it's usually just fear. It's the fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of making the wrong decision, and sometimes, fear of even succeeding. We tell ourselves we're just being careful, that we're trying to get all the facts, analyze every angle, and ensure we're making the right choice. But what's really happening is that we're using thinking as a shield to protect us from the discomfort of action. That shield might feel safe in the moment, but in reality, it's holding us back from growth, opportunity, and change. When you overthink, your mind gets stuck in a cycle of what-ifs and maybes. You imagine every possible worst-case scenario, and without realizing it, you start convincing yourself that the risk isn't worth it. The more time you spend analyzing, the less time you spend doing. And here's the truth: nothing changes when you stay in your head. Overthinking doesn't lead to clarity, it leads to confusion. It clouds your judgment, increases your anxiety, and causes you to miss out on the present moment. You're not becoming more prepared, you're becoming more paralyzed. Fear has a clever way of dressing itself up as logic. You think, I'm not ready, or I need more time. But how much more time do you really need? How much more thinking will actually help? Most of the time, the answers you're looking for won't come from another hour of thought, they'll come from taking action, learning from the results, and adjusting as you go. That's how real progress is made. Not by staying still, but by moving forward even when you feel uncertain. We all feel fear, that's normal. But when you let fear drive your thinking, it becomes a prison. It convinces you to wait, to pause, to second, guess your instincts, and the longer you sit with it, the more powerful it becomes. You give your fear strength every time you let it talk you out of trying. And eventually, you start to believe that you're not capable, not because it's true, but because fear has repeated it enough in your mind. The only way to break that cycle is to recognize overthinking for what it really is: an excuse. A mental trap, a form of self-sabotage. You have to become aware of when your brain is spiraling and take back control. Interrupt the pattern. Challenge the fear. Remind yourself that you don't need perfect answers, you just need to begin. Because once you start moving, fear loses its grip. Confidence is built through action, not thought. And if you want to stop overthinking, you have to stop feeding your fear and start feeding your courage, one brave step at a time. We often believe that if we just think long and hard enough, the answer will come. That if we sit with a problem, turn it over in our minds a few more times, clarity will magically appear, but that's not how it works. The truth is, clarity doesn't come from thought, it comes from action. Thinking has its place, of course. It helps us reflect, plan, and make informed decisions. But too much thinking, especially without action, leads to confusion, self-doubt, and stagnation. We stay stuck in our minds, running in circles, waiting for the perfect moment that never arrives. That's where the trap lies. The idea that we'll somehow feel ready if we think a little more. But readiness isn't a feeling, it's a decision. When you take action, you create movement, and movement generates feedback. It gives you real-world information about what works, what doesn't, what feels right, and what needs adjusting. You can read every book, watch every video, and gather every opinion. But until you take a step, you're just guessing. Clarity doesn't come from theory. It comes from doing. You figure things out by trying, by failing, by learning, and by doing it again with more insight than you had before. Action breaks the fog. Even a small step forward gives you more direction than 100 hours of overthinking ever could. The mind craves certainty. It wants to know how things will turn out before taking the risk. But life doesn't work like that. You don't get to see the full staircase before you climb. You take the first step in the dark and trust that the next step will become visible once you move. That's how clarity is born in motion, not in stillness. When you act, you send a message to your brain that you're not afraid to figure it out along the way. You build confidence by proving to yourself that you can handle the unknown. Most people wait for clarity before they move. But those who achieve their goals and live with purpose know that action must come first. You don't wait to feel ready. You get ready by moving. You don't wait for courage. You build courage by showing up scared and doing it anyway. And with every step you take, your vision becomes clearer. Your path becomes sharper. The fog begins to lift, and suddenly, what once felt overwhelming starts to feel manageable. So stop waiting for the perfect plan. Stop hoping for the moment when everything makes sense. That moment doesn't come before you begin, it comes because you begin. Action is the cure to confusion. Movement is the antidote to fear. And clarity is the reward for those who dare to take that first uncomfortable step into the unknown. The mind is a powerful tool, but when left unchecked, it often works against you. One of the simplest yet most powerful techniques to take back control of your thoughts and break the cycle of hesitation is the 5-second rule, created by Mel Robbins. It's not complicated. It doesn't require motivation, energy, or even confidence. All it takes is counting backward 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, and then moving. It sounds simple, and that's the beauty of it. This little countdown interrupts the mental chatter that leads to overthinking, fear, and procrastination. It cuts through the noise and forces your brain to shift from autopilot into action. When you're stuck in a loop of self-doubt or indecision, your brain is operating from a place of fear. It's trying to protect you from discomfort, failure, or rejection. But that protection comes at a high cost. You stay stuck, you avoid challenges, and you miss opportunities. The 5-second rule works because it interrupts that pattern. When you count down from 5, you activate the part of your brain that takes control of decision making. You're no longer reacting emotionally. You're taking deliberate action. The rule creates a mental shift that reclaims your power in those crucial moments of hesitation. Think about how often you talk yourself out of things in just a few seconds. You get the idea to speak up in a meeting, but then your mind tells you to stay quiet. You want to go for a walk or start working out, but your brain convinces you to wait until tomorrow. These moments are tiny, but they matter. Your life is built from the small choices you make every day. And if you keep hesitating, you keep settling. The 5-second rule gives you a tool to change that in real time. It takes you from thought to action before your brain can stop you. This rule isn't about rushing or being reckless. It's about giving yourself a push in the right direction. It's about building the habit of acting on your instincts before fear has a chance to talk you out of it. The more you use it, the more you begin to trust yourself. You prove to your mind that you're capable, brave, and in control. Over time, you don't just overcome procrastination, you rewire your mindset. The best part is, you can use the 5-second rule anywhere, anytime. Whether it's getting out of bed in the morning, starting a hard conversation, or pressing record on your first video, it works. All it takes is 5 seconds of courage. Not confidence, not perfection, just 5 seconds of decisive action that can shift the direction of your entire day or your entire life. And when you make a habit of acting instead of hesitating, you become unstoppable. Because it's not about feeling ready. It's about deciding that now is the moment to move, and then doing it. Perfection is one of the biggest lies your mind will ever tell you. It whispers that everything has to be just right before you begin. That you need the perfect plan, the perfect timing, the perfect skills. It convinces you that unless you can do it flawlessly, it's better not to try at all. This mindset is a trap, a mental cage that keeps you stuck in hesitation, doubt, and endless preparation. While you wait for the stars to align, time passes, opportunities slip away, and your dreams remain untouched. The truth is, perfection is the enemy of progress. It doesn't move you forward, it holds you back. Most people don't start because they fear getting it wrong. They're terrified of being judged, failing, or making a mistake. But mistakes are part of the process. They're not signs of weakness. They're proof that you're in motion, that you're growing, that you're doing something most people are too afraid to do. No one starts out perfect. Every expert was once a beginner. Every confident speaker once stumbled over their words. Every strong person once felt uncertain. Waiting until you're perfect means you'll be waiting forever, because perfection doesn't exist. Progress, on the other hand, is real. It's messy, uncomfortable, and often full of small failures. But it's movement, it's action, and with each step forward, you learn, you grow, and you improve. That's how real success is built, not from flawless execution, but from consistent effort. You'll never be ready in the way your mind wants you to be. You'll never have everything figured out, but you don't need to. All you need is the courage to begin and the willingness to keep going. Perfectionism is also a form of fear. It's fear dressed up in fancy language. When you say, "I just want it to be perfect," what you often mean is, "I'm scared of failing. I'm scared of not being enough." That fear, if not addressed, will rob you of your potential. You'll look back one day and realize you spent more time thinking than doing, more time preparing than creating, and that regret is far worse than any mistake you might make by taking action today. If you want to make real progress, you have to let go of perfection. You have to be okay with doing it messy, scared, and unsure. You have to show up before you feel fully ready. That's how growth happens. Progress is found in the small, daily steps you take in the face of fear, not in waiting for a flawless moment that never comes. Choose movement over mastery, choose effort over excuses, and remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about being real, brave, and in motion. That's how lives change, that's how you change. Every second you spend trapped in your own head is a moment stolen from your life. While you overthink, hesitate, and wait for the right time, life keeps moving. The days turn into weeks, the weeks into months, and before you know it, years have passed. Your goals, dreams, and potential don't pause just because you're unsure. They sit quietly in the background waiting, while life continues without your full participation. The truth is harsh but necessary. Your life won't wait. It won't stop for your doubts, your fears, or your perfectionism. And if you don't take control, you'll wake up one day wondering where your time went and why you never truly started. We often tell ourselves that we'll act later. We'll speak up in the next meeting, go to the gym next week, start the business next month, or follow our passion when we feel ready. But that feeling of readiness rarely comes. It's a myth, a comfortable illusion that gives us permission to delay. In reality, the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to begin. The habit of overthinking, procrastinating, and doubting yourself becomes stronger with each passing day. And while you wait, the opportunities you could have claimed are slipping by, unnoticed, unseized. Time is one of the few things we can never get back. Money can be earned again, relationships can be rebuilt, but time is gone forever once it's spent. Every moment of inaction is a lost chance to move closer to the life you actually want. That's why urgency matters. That's why action matters, because the world isn't slowing down for you. It's up to you to decide if you'll keep watching from the sidelines or step into the game, messy and unprepared, but willing. When you realize life won't wait, something inside you should ignite, a sense of purpose, a refusal to let fear steal any more time. Yes, it's scary to move forward when you don't have all the answers. Yes, there will be failures, setbacks, and mistakes, but those things are part of growth. They are signs that you're alive, engaged, and trying. And that's what matters most, not perfection, but participation. You weren't meant to live inside your thoughts. You were meant to experience, to feel, to create, and to grow. That only happens when you get out of your head and into the world. Life is waiting, but it won't wait forever. The door is open, but it won't stay open. So don't let another day pass while you sit in silence, paralyzed by indecision. Make the call, start the project, say yes, say no, do something. You have more power than you think. But you'll only discover it when you stop thinking and start acting, because every moment matters, and your life won't wait. Absolutely, here's a powerful conclusion that ties together all 5 key points from the speech: no more overthinking. In a bold, emotional, and motivating way, you've spent enough time in your head, enough time doubting, delaying, and playing small. Overthinking has stolen your peace, your time, and your potential, but today that ends. You now know the truth. Overthinking isn't protection, it's fear, and fear doesn't deserve to run your life. Clarity won't come from more thinking, it comes from movement, and the smallest action, taken in courage, will lead you further than endless hours of hesitation ever could. You have a weapon in your hands: the 5-second rule. A simple countdown that can break fear's grip and launch you into motion. Use it. Every time your mind screams, wait, count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, interrupt the cycle, take the step, reclaim your power, let go of perfection. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to be bold enough to begin, messy, scared, unsure, because progress is built through action, not through flawless plans. And above all, remember this: your life won't wait. The clock is ticking and every moment matters. You don't get this day back. You don't get this chance again. So stop overthinking, start trusting yourself, and move forward boldly, imperfectly, and on purpose. This is your moment. This is your sign. No more overthinking. It's time to act. It's time to live. Let's go.